Look, I can be a pretty ruthless guy in Crusader Kings. I have conquered my way into power, I have murdered my way into power, but I have never tested my way into power. So this is gonna be new. Hey folks, my name is Pravus and welcome to more Crusader Kings 3 with the brand new All Under Heaven expansion. And this is probably my second most anticipated content update for the game, adding in the empires of China and Japan and Southeast Asia. It's going to be glorious. What's my number one anticipated feature? Well, I'm still holding out hope that someday republics will get added into the game. Come on, Paradox, why? Why do you taunt me like this? And speaking of Paradox, they are the sponsors for today's video, which is always very much appreciated. If you guys want to learn more about the new All Under Heaven expansion, you can find a link in the description down below. Now, as I said, this expansion is all about growing the map to include the cultures of Eastern Asia across these time periods, which means we have multiple dynasties from China. We do have some special tributary and kingdom mechanics in Southeast Asia, and of course we do have the shogunate of Japan, and each of these cultures has their own cultural mechanics as well as unique government forms to reflect just how differently everything was run here compared to Europe. And I will say, I do think that the Song Dynasty of China is calling to me right now, because it is kind of unique. It's a little bit similar to the Byzantine bureaucracy system that we got with the Roads to Power expansion, but obviously manifests in quite a different way. I'll show you what I mean in a bit. Let's go ahead and create a custom character. We're gonna start from absolutely nothing and see just how far up we can rise through pure merit and nothing else. So I'm gonna create for myself a completely custom character, but I think we're gonna be playing as, let's say, a 16-year-old, as young as possible, while still being, you know, able to look out for myself. And for personality traits, I'm gonna be making myself ambitious, just, and maybe compassionate as well. Some good virtues with the Confucian faith. I'm also going to give myself a Confucian education background because that's going to be very useful to me. And also probably journaler, just so I can get off a little bit of stress. That is, believe it or not, quite important for us. And then finally, for an educational background, probably anything in diplomacy or stewardship or learning would be good for me. Yeah, we'll just go for an astute intellectual. Okay. I'm just going to toss as many points in between some of these as I can, maybe a little extra into martial just in case. There we go. Exactly 400 customization points. Nice. And we're going to name this kid Shen Shi, which actually is reversed here, because obviously the surname should come first in this case. But yeah, name Shi of the dynasty Shen. Yeah, there we go, Shen Shi. Okay, they got it right here. So, notice that we have absolutely no titles to our name. We are a landless character. The only asset that I have is my family estate, which is very similar to what we have seen from Roads to Power, which includes various different upgrades we can get to get lots of different bonuses, and this is hereditary. This is going to pass down from father to son. But other than that, we have no land or titles. We are a mere gentleman. If I want to have any income so I can start expanding my estate and building out personal family wealth, then I need to get a job. And the most prestigious job that I could gain is to work directly for the administrative state of China. Now, you might think that China is actually organized by a number of different independent kingdoms from what you're seeing here, but no, not really. If we zoom out a little further, everything is unified under one divine Son of Heaven. Technically speaking, his title is Emperor, but from a gameplay perspective, he's more like an Emperor of Emperors. It's kind of a new, unique thing just for China. And what I mean by that is China is entirely organized by the Confucian meritocracy system, and the emperor owns all of the land, but obviously he can't administrate all of it personally, so he hires a number of different ministers, governors, prefects, and so on to operate the system for him. So all of these titles you see here, you can think of actually just sort of an employee organizational structure. But that's neither here nor there. How do we get a job? Well, primarily through merit, because bloodlines doesn't really matter. So this introduces us to a whole new system down over here called merit, which is a currency that we will be able to build up slowly with our character. And as we gain merit, we will advance through the ranks of the Chinese bureaucracy, and that will open up the opportunity to appoint us to a new title once one opens up. Now, how do you gain merit? Well, there are a few things you can do to gain it kind of passively, but primarily in the early game, your best option is to take some exams. Yes, that means I am going back to school. In fact, we already have an invitation to join one of the local exams. But here's the thing. If we click over here on Celestial Government and take a look at my character and his role within the Empire, we can see that right now there are 3 exams that I could take: the Provincial, the Metropolitan, and the Palace examination. You can only take these once. And once taken, this really is going to determine a lot of our future capability and what we can be awarded. So you really want to knock it out of the park. No pressure. But that means we really ought to study. So I'm going to go to Decisions, and we're going to start studying the Confucian classics. The problem with studying is that mostly it's a very, very stressful activity. Case in point, if we take a look right here, we can see we could focus on the Confucian studies, and that's going to make my stress extremely difficult to burn off. But if you want to make the studying go by a lot faster, this is the price you pay. Ah, there we go. An exam advantage. Causes a lot of stress, but I think it's going to be worth it. There's my invitation. Let's go ahead and say we want to join this expedition. So we're going to travel all the way over here. Good news is China is remarkably safe to travel in. Bandits aren't really an issue here since the Empire is stable. So I don't even need to have any special protection. We can just travel there. Okay, we have arrived. It's a very large affair. There's 97 guests at this exam, everyone trying their shot. And considering the stakes are so high, I mean, we could try to be honorable, or I could say I am very willing to cheat if that's what it takes. But obviously that's very high risk. You do not want to be disgraced. I don't think I need to cheat. I've got very good skills and an exam advantage. I'll call that good enough. In fact, actually, here we go. A learning opportunity that gets me another exam advantage. I'll take it. Gonna buy myself a little manuscript over here for a little bit more learning skill. Like, I'm investing, dude. This is just like your college entrance exams. You gotta get them right, dang it. All right, and here's the exam itself. It all comes down to this and just rolling the dice several times. So we currently have an exam score of 73. At least that's what it ought to be if we took it right now. But based on these answers, we have a chance of increasing that score dramatically or not at all. Obviously, you're shooting for as many critical successes as possible, which is going to be a combination of your learning, martial, and stewardship skills. And basically, our chances have gone up a lot because we have exam advantages. So we'll try that. Critical success! That's what you like to see to start things off. Okay. Then we have some poetry. I could go for exactly 20, or I could take a roll of the dice and try for even more. There's at least like a 57% chance I get 20 or higher, so I'm gonna shoot for this, please. Another great success. Yes! Wait, why am I sick? No! I'm soldiering on. If I'm taking an exam while sick, then so be it. You win some, you lose some. All right, let's try this one again. Where's my brush? Another critical success. Even sick, I'm a genius. My name is the top of the lists, and my peers turn their heads to look at me in envy. I am the prefecture's best scholar. Ha ha! And as a result, I get myself a whole load of extra merit and some influence. Most importantly, though, I passed the exam, which means that now I am technically open to being appointed to different prefect roles, i.e. a count. But we have to wait for something to open up, and even then, someone else might be a little bit more preferred than me. So if we click over here, we can see currently our candidacy list. So I am of the 8th rank, which means I can have that prefecture, but we can see all the other people who are of 8th rank are much, much higher up the list than I am. Why? Well, because merit is obviously one really important aspect to getting hired for a job, but it's not the only one. There's also going to be a candidacy score, which has a lot to do with how you promote yourself. So what you could do here is spend some of your influence to try and give yourself a contribution, which is going to boost up your score and give you a higher likelihood of getting an appointment. And or you could also try to do a promotion scheme, which I'll go ahead and do because I don't really see a downside to doing that. What I need to do is basically hire some of my local friends or other people that could go to bat for me and spread my name with the right people. And the good news is I seem to have actually attracted the attention of a lot of good people. So I'm going to have a lot of proponents who are going out there trying to spread my name. And I'm no longer ill. Excellent. Oh! Well, would you look at this? I actually have already drawn the attention of the Emperor. I have been appointed as his antiquarian. I got a job, everybody! It's not the job I was going for, but it's something. We're bootstrapping it, folks. The important thing is now I do have a very small income. It's not much of a salary, but it's something. I'm basically getting paid minimum wage. That's fine. You gotta start somewhere. Now, we can continue going to examinations if I would like, and that's not even a bad idea. We can't take the test again, but what we can do is go there and assist in the examination and that is another way of gaining a fair bit of merit, or a good way of getting some money and some favors if you're very corrupt. But I'm not gonna do that, surely. Don't do this too much though, because remember, you still need to study for additional exams if you want to work your way up the ladder. We'll go through a bunch more of these little events, working with our feller proctors. Expose someone for trying to sway the exam. Not allowed to do that. And that finishes that. We get another 255 merit. There we go. Slowly working our way up. So what's the next exam we are looking forward to though, right? That's gonna be the metropolitan examination. Okay. Whoop! Hold on, before I even could take that exam. We have been given a prefecture. I've got a better job. The last guy died of cancer. Wonderful. Okay, so this is gonna be my new official territory, right down over here. Oh, it's beautiful. What will I do with it, though? Develop the lands? May not be a bad idea, makes it a bit cheaper to actually develop things, and that's one of the best ways to really impress people if you are going to be a governor. Just actually be a good steward of the land. But keep in mind, we're not actually gaining taxes from this region. This is not a feudal holding, right, where I own everything and I just have to pay my taxes to the emperor. No, all of the revenue goes straight to the emperor, and he deigns to give me a salary and a budget in order to run this territory. In fact, though, it's very important to notice that the budget and your personal salary are distinct. We still see gold right here, right? That's my personal income. But then we also have the treasury for this region. This is the money that I have been given by my higher-ups in order to properly develop and manage this region. If I were to die or retire or somehow lose this territory, I don't keep this, all right? This stays with the holding. So again, in China, you're gonna find that building up your personal wealth is a bit tougher. Oh, what's this, by the way? The emperor has invited me to a new exam. I don't think that I have any exam advantages right now, which is kind of what scares me, but it might still be worth trying to do this now. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna try for it. Let's go. Now, the problem is, I immediately lose my governorship for doing this. So I'm gonna lose all that treasury. We're going back to school for 15 years. And that freezes me out from getting appointed for 3 years as well. So, like, we're taking a pretty big career swing here. But I mean, when the emperor calls and invites you, I think you just have to take it. Do I want to risk cheating? Not really if I can avoid it. We'll see. Oh, there we go, exam advantage. Okay, that's worth it. See, turns out I don't have to cheat. I'm just smart. All right, here we go again. Where is my brush? Pretty good chance of something nice. All right, a decent essay. We get great success with our points about the passage. And I'm gonna reach for my brush here and try again. Critical success! Ah! It was 2 points shy of being the best, though! No! Whatever, I'm in the top 3. That's gotta be pretty good. And I'm sick again. I got measles? Arst thou kiddingeth me? And my child died! No! Even the emperor is sick. Wait, I have a chance to increase my score a little bit further? Wait a minute, what? Let's try it! Okay, we got ourselves back into second place. Seriously though, I need a freaking physician. Everyone is sick. Literally everyone got measles. What the crud? Oh, that's a lot of extra merit right there though. 2,500, yes. So actually, I think because we were so impressive during the metropolitan examination, that is what got us access to the emperor's personal exam in the palace just now. So by doing that, we actually just finished all of our exams. We're now actually qualified for the highest possible role within the emperor's court. I just need enough merit to actually support that, but now that we are in the 6th rank, I could be appointed to a duchy tier title, not to a mere county. And the higher this goes, the better it's gonna be. I'll tell you what I don't need to do anymore though, study. We're done with that. And I have a replacement daughter. She's not as beautiful as the first one, but she's still comely. Nope, she died too. Gosh dang it, dude! This measles, man, it's completely out of control. Oh good, another baby. 3rd time's the charm. God, I hope there's not another outbreak. Whoop, 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 whoop. I think I just got in position, hold on. We have been handed the prefecture of Zhengzhou. Zhengzhou? I don't know how to say it. Point is, I'm a governor. Oh, it's this one up over here. Oh. Okay. No one's given me a budget worth anything. I'm a little concerned I might have been set up to fail here. It appears you just gave me a broke province. Hello? Do we have anything? Can I request my treasury from the Minister of Revenue? Yes, thank you. Why do I have to spend my influence asking for my budget? I mean, I guess it's not all bad. My new boss has decided to also make me his chief secretary. Does it come with a stipend? Not much, honestly. Good lord, you guys are only paying me like 0.2 for my salary? You guys know how freaking little money that is? God, I'm working for pennies on the dollar here. You know, even though I am gonna have to govern this backwater county up over here, which probably has a long and rich history and I'm offending people right now, but I don't know. Anyway, point is, I'm still working on self-improvement. Never ends. We're now officially of the merit rank middle, which is to say that we are rank 5. Which means now, theoretically, forget the governorship. I could get promoted. I could get promoted to running one of these kingdoms slash, circuits? So that's kind of cool. Maybe this guy will die and I'll just take his spot. I just gotta do a really good job developing this province, all right? I'm bootstrapping my way to victory here, dang it. People are gonna say that I came from nothing, but by golly, they're gonna respect me as some sort of a meritocratic god. Surely, eventually my higher-ups are gonna recognize my merit, right? That's how it works? Cries in corporate America. Whoop, there's that promotion, okay. Whine about it enough, right? Be the squeaky wheel, and then boom! Good stuff is sure to happen. We are now the governor of Baku, which is where? Right here? There we go. Okay, so this entire area is now mine. I've got a couple little subjects and a whole bunch of my own personal holdings. Now, one thing that's a little bit awkward about this is it's not like I was exactly attached to this province or anything, but if I had invested much of my time and personal money into this, well, it's kind of hard to feel emotionally attached or even incentivized to develop anything because you know that you're not going to keep it for long. So that's kind of an awkward situation. Anyway, so the treasury that I had in this province is now gone. That wasn't mine. That was always a budget from the emperor, and that belongs to the province itself. Instead, I've now picked up all of the Baku treasury. So I can now develop a few things. Not that the extra taxes go into my coffers or anything, but it's gotta, at very least, look like I'm doing something useful. Like, I want to keep working my way up the corporate chain, the imperial chain, dang it. Credit where it's due, though, you know, since I'm not having to spend any of my personal money running the actual territory, I can actually just save all of my income. So we are making some pretty decent progress on upgrading my estate. To get some upgrades with my groves, my rice fields, I just built up a market, which is good. I can get even more income, eventually starting to get extra merit every time I build something in my counties. And that's kind of what I was expecting to get the first time, but I think I need the market to make that work. So then I really will have an incentive to start spending my treasury and getting myself my own merit. I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, I need an incentive to do my job properly, but I mean, like, whatever. If it works, it works. Now here's something important though. So we've spent a lot of time trying to build up our own education, our own merits, get exams, get certified. But now my son can do the same thing. And even though he is quite young, only 7 years old, it's worth sending him to try to get some children's examinations. And quite possibly, he can get some early leg ups. It's kind of like kindergarten or just like early grammar school for your kids. Same idea. He's certainly not guaranteed to win at all. We did actually pass. Okay, good for you. I actually had very little expectations, so I'm quite happy that you did that. If you build more stuff, I think in your main estate, you will be able to get like some education-based buildings, stuff like that. And the idea is you just spend your money to start building up a legacy that gives you a leg up for all future generations. I've managed to advance into the 4th rank, good, so we're very close to being able to go above even kingdom tier titles and start getting ministries. Not that I think there are any in the Empire right now, but that's beside the point. And once you get up a bit higher in the rank, at some point your mentor has nothing left to teach you. You've surpassed them. My only person left in the entire Empire that could educate me is the Grand Chancellor himself. Effectively like the Prime Minister. Like the right hand of the Emperor. So that could be a really good opportunity to rub elbows with some important people, don't you think? Wait, just something happened again with the passing of an intendant. The governance of the Fujian Circuit falls to me. I'm a king! Well, not literally a king, but I'm promoted! Yes! Where's my territory? This one! Oh god, it's riddled with plague. Oh god, I see why no one wanted it. Okay. Oh, frickin' heck, this place is even more bare than the last place. Wait a minute. This feels suspiciously like a demotion. Yeah, I kind of don't like this situation. Can I return this? Look, I'll be honest. On paper, I think that the story of Shen-Shi is turning out pretty good, right? We started at a young age of 16. We're 40 now. We've bounced between different prefectures. We've met before the Emperor. We've been granted governorships. Now we have an entire circuit. And yet somehow, I feel like I'm just being moved from one dumpster fire over to another. I'd really appreciate it if you guys would give me something a little bit better than this. Yeah, I'm getting loads and loads of merit, by the way, just from the fact that I'm spending all the money that the Emperor is giving me and just building like crazy right now. Like, I took this really horrible situation, and I'm rapidly turning this into a fairly developed duchy. That's rank 2. Oh my gosh, I am so close to maxing myself out with this civilian career path. And we're only at the young age of 44. We can do it. I have no doubt we can do it. It's just a question of, will my liege give me anything? Now, the thing is, even if the Emperor chose not to recognize me in any meaningful way, that does not mean that there's no value in continuing to work up the ranks. I mean, as I said before, with the dynastic cycle, we're in a stable era right now. That does not mean we're going to be there forever, and in times of chaos, you know, things can turn around, but it's also a really good opportunity to take advantage of the chaos and maybe, I don't know, unseat an unfavorable emperor. And if we are, in fact, incredibly meritorious, well then surely people will say that we are the rightful inheritors of the mandate of heaven. So I suspect, haven't tried this myself, but I suspect that going down this route, there may well be a path to actually becoming the emperor, but the stars do have to align. Now what? Now what? Hold on. I think I just got the thing. Yes, I did indeed. Oh, we got another promotion, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it's just another kingdom title. What? We literally moved next door. Well, that's just a slap in the face. Oh, and I see the problem. You have no treasury. Oh my god, they are insisting on finding ways to screw with me, aren't they? I'm gonna have to go to the Minister of Revenue and say, can you please give me my budget back? Oh my god, I can't believe it. Wait a minute, every time I get a promotion, it turns out it's like one of those side promotions, you know? Not like an actual up the ladder situation, but like, yeah, you just moved from one cool thing to, it's a different title, all right, and maybe it's in a worse circumstance, but it comes with a new office space and a window. Oh my god, this is corporate America. It's fine, I'm not giving up hope yet. I'm not giving up hope. If we just continue being diligent and working hard, eventually someone's gonna notice, and they're gonna give me a position worthy of my talents, right? I almost couldn't say that with a straight face, but for God's sake, I've gotta believe the system works! Because what's the alternative? Violent revolution? My god, Paradox, you may have actually struck a little too close to home for this one. This is evoking all the cynical problems us millennials have with the modern West today. Oh god, it's all being captured in my Crusader Kings. Where's my escapism? It's too real! There we go. Okay, I've officially reached the upper rank. Highest possible level I can be. I know I can do better, higher ambitions. Why? There's no point to more merit that I can think of. By the way, can I please point out, I have the highest candidate score. I am literally the #1 candidate for anything in the Empire. Mr. Emperor Man, I swear to God, please notice me. I don't even care if I have an actual, like, landed title, all right? That's not strictly a requirement in the Empire. Technically speaking, I could be, like, the Imperial Censure, right? I don't think I have the intrigue score for that, but I could be. Or maybe make me Grand Minister, I don't know. My point is, there are options. Just freaking give me a chance, dude. Wait, what's this? I am now the Minister of War? Question for you. What exactly does a Minister of War do? Like, I'm happy to do whatever it is that you want me to do, but I don't know what to do. Start a great project? I guess I could. Do I get to declare all the wars? I don't think so. I don't even have a levy. I could build the Great Barracks so that our military might can actually house huge numbers of soldiers, and then we can win wars. This sounds like the sort of thing a Minister of War would do. Whoop! Our Emperor is dead! We have a new one in charge. All right. Well, long live the Emperor, I guess. Hey, I served your father really well in case you didn't know. What? Yes! Yes! I am now the Imperial Censor! This is arguably, like, the second most important position in the Empire. Like, the Grand Chancellor might be the right hand of the Emperor, but I'm the left. That kind of thing. Now, the funny thing is, I am pretty sure that the censor is supposed to function as, like, a moral leader and also root out corruption. Like, that's my entire job. But I'm not exactly good at, like, intrigue, so this is perhaps the one job I am the least suited for. But that's okay. Like, have you guys ever experienced this thing in the workplace where basically people who are very competent will continue getting promoted up the company ladder right up until they hit the point where they're no longer able to perform the job, at which point, of course, they never get, like, promoted again, but also they're not going to get demoted. So you took someone who was very competent in their job and accidentally promoted them to the point where they're going to be incompetent in their job. That's basically what just happened here. Because I do not think that the censure is my proper calling. I should have been Grand Chancellor, if anything. But no, instead you guys made me the worst possible job because I'm not a spying guy. Literal worst skill. I mean, maybe there's more to this role than I know of. I don't freaking know. No one's given me a manual on how to do this job. I've got no workflows. Well, I mean, I did go around finding secrets as a scheme, and it looks like the Emperor's pleased. I'm satisfied with the insights you've gleaned. You found what? 5? No small feat. I expected no less. Apparently, I'm actually doing my job well. I don't know how, because I don't think I should be, but apparently I am. And mostly the secrets I found so far are just that everyone's sleeping with everyone, which surprises no one at all. Wait, no, hold on. I'm thinking about this for a second, and I think I'm realizing that this entire system is one giant scam. Think about it. I get my first job working for minimum wage at the age of 16 while I go to school. I take my exams so that I can get a job. I wait for 2 years, get assigned to a backwater province. I return to get my master's degree, get even more qualifications, then get assigned to an even worse backwater province, then a backwater governance, then a circuit riddled by plague, then a circuit that's broke, and now I've been promoted to the Minister of War, which was my second worst skill, and then finally the Imperial Censure, which is my worst skill. Meritocracy? What meritocracy? This whole thing is a lie! I played by the rules, dang it, and I got fricked! Oh my god, this actually is a representation of my life. Oh my god. Fine, I didn't want it to come to this, but I think you've left me only one recourse. If the system is completely broken and corrupt, then the only solution is to destroy it from the inside. You made me your censure, Mr. Emperor Hegemon man. You're gonna regret that. Oh, the Emperor died before it could... Oh, well, alright. Now we have a 11-year-old ruling the Empire. Though I'm kinda curious, could I just declare myself as the proper regent of the realm? I mean, surely there's literally no one else better in the entire Empire. I am, after all, number one. This is an abuse of power will cause 25 strife with your peer vassals. The Imperial Censor Law. Yeah, that seems reasonable. There we go. I am now the Secretary Director of the Song Dynasty. So now I actually have a whole bunch of different mechanics I can use properly against my liege. I could change the mandate of the Empire. That could be a thing. Or I could try to swing the scales of power in my favor one way or another. I can leverage like anything I want on this stupid kid. So now I've just made myself more powerful. I can even invite conspirators into a coup? Yes, this governor would join, this governor would join. I'll make a lot of promises, okay? I will promise a lot of money to these people. And a bunch of people just joined my conspiracy, just like that. So now all the great families are in on the coup attempt, right? Everyone's a conspirator. The question is, how do I execute on this? Okay, I have to attempt to overthrow my liege here. Okay, but to do that, I can't be attending an activity, and I have to have been the Secretary Director for like 4 more years. A total of 4 years. How long have I been in this role? It's getting close to that. So I think literally all I have to do is wait then. Wait just a little bit longer. Once this activity is done for the Emperor, no more exams, now he's free. That's the only thing I'm waiting on. So now... Organize my conspiracy! Alright, there's 3 different types of coups. I'm not going to be fighting. I'm not going to be doing the stabby-stabby. What is the most beneficial for all of China is a diplomatic coup. We're going to make our move on the throne room. Yes! Yes, it's over. I rule completely and alone. In the end, it was pretty easy. I just walked in there like, yeah, we kind of figured you're gonna take over. And just like that, I have made myself the Emperor of China. Yes, it's all mine. Sure, it took an entire lifetime to pull it off. Talk about a hostile takeover. I have to elect all these ministers. I can now assign everything. I've got no money. Really? Why am I so broke? I spent every penny I had getting those people to support me. Gosh dang it. Well, fine, whatever. I'll squeeze it out of them eventually. Now that is what I call a satisfying character arc. From rags to emperor. All I had to do was put aside the textbooks and get my hands a little bit dirty. Very fun. Well, thank you all very much for watching, and thanks again to Paradox for sponsoring this video. If you want to learn more about All Under Heaven, you can find that link in the description down below. Otherwise, I would ask that you hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.